Hi, I'm Tessa Rickard, a nutritionist with a special interest in practical whole foods and helping women manage their Hashimoto's really well. So, if the idea of giving up croissants or making a sandwich that doesn't taste like cardboard makes you want to lay your head on the counter and cry, I get it. But trust me, coming from someone who spent 8 years being gluten careful, let's say, and 9 years being very strictly gluten free, I promise it's not as impossible as it sounds. You really do learn to make peace with it eventually. For those of us with Hashimoto's, cutting out gluten can be an absolute game changer. I've seen it in myself and my clients. It helps reduce inflammation, it can assist with weight loss, and even clear up that really difficult brain fog that most of us suffer with. Plus, for some people, it can actually help lower thyroid antibodies. I know it sounds big, very big, but it's worth a try. If you want to learn more about why gluten is so problematic for Hashimoto's disease, check out my other videos on Hashimoto's and gluten. It's not something I can cover in this short video. So now I've really learned this the hard way. I'm not someone with perfect willpower or special abilities. When all of this started for me, I was just a regular person. I was not a trained nutritionist, and I had absolutely no idea how much food could influence the way I felt or my future health outcomes, either for good or for bad. As a child of the 90s, I'd been taught that food was a simple calorie calculation. Quality food, whole foods, and the notion of anti inflammatory versus pro inflammatory foods was not even on my radar. So, once post my Hashimoto's diagnosis, I actually went to Europe, totally broke as you do. I had my wallet stolen in Paris, as you do. So, I was even more broke. And I basically lived on baguettes for 4 weeks straight. 6 kilos later, I learned my lesson. Once I cut out the gluten again, when I got home, my energy came back, the bloating and fluid went away, my skin improved, and I felt more like myself. So, yes, even though giving up gluten can feel like an impossibly tall mountain to climb, it really does help. And every single client I've guided through this process has said the same thing. Not once have I had a Hashi's client tell me that cutting out gluten did not help them with their most pressing symptoms: brain fog, fatigue, and weight gain. Not once. I often hear, but Tessa, if I cut out gluten, what will I eat? I'll starve. Trust me, you won't. In fact, it's all about changing how you see your options. I really want you to focus on what you can eat. Because if you're anything like me, very visual person, the first thing I do when someone tells me I can't eat something is visualize a smorgasbord of all the foods that I can't eat. Things like dumplings, donuts, pasta. So you need to stop that. It won't help. Secondly, I want you to start substituting some of these items in your mind's eye with things like berries, scrambled eggs, creamy dips, toasted hazelnuts, fluffy rice, crunchy snow peas, ripe tomatoes, basil, chocolate cheese. The list goes on. Focus on the incredible foods that you can eat to reduce the grief at having to face a gluten-free lifestyle, because many foods aren't actually naturally gluten-free. I hope your menu just got a whole lot broader. There are so many naturally gluten-free foods out there that once you switch your mindset, you'll see how abundant your diet can really be. So, all fruits and vegetables, meat, eggs, dairy, legume, nuts, seeds, and many delicious grains contain zero gluten. So, in other words, most of the natural whole food options are safe on a gluten-free diet. There's a cornucopia of delicious, fresh, and healthy foods open to you, so that whenever you feel that creeping sense of deprivation or FOMO, remind yourself that you've got delicious, gluten-free options for days. The good news is that we've come a long way with gluten-free substitutes. So when I started 17 odd years ago, the options were pretty bleak, but now there are a lot of great alternatives. So some of my favorites are buckwheat pasta, for example, or the lupin-based fettuccine from Otway Pasta Company. Even pizza bases are getting better. So Senza and Toscana are two brands available at Woolies and Coles, and there are plenty of restaurants doing great gluten-free bases too. All of my personal recommendations are very Melbourne or Australia specific. So if you want to know more about my recommendations, check out the blog I wrote on this topic because I didn't want to talk about it in this video. I even share my favorite Melbourne-based pizza restaurants that we go to for special occasions. So you can go gluten free well, or you can do it poorly. I see a lot of clients or people making the mistake of replacing their regular gluten free products with gluten free versions. So gluten free biscuits, gluten free bread, gluten free pasta. You get the picture. The problem is that a lot of these products are manufactured to look like gluten containing products. So they use a lot of those white starches, highly refined flours, and sugars to emulate that white look. Eating too much of that is going to leave you feeling or really tired, sluggish, and bloated because of their effect on blood sugar. These foods will make it really hard to lose weight too. And then you might turn around and assume that gluten free doesn't help at all. And I don't want that to happen. So instead, try to stick with whole, naturally gluten free foods. They're better for your energy, your digestion, and your overall health. And I'm going to do a video on how to find good bread, gluten free bread too soon. So, what does a gluten free day actually look like? So, let's start with breakfast. Maybe you could swap out cereal or toast for a nut based granola and yogurt, or maybe eggs and mushrooms on buckwheat toast. For lunch, instead of a sandwich, you could try a piece of protein like chicken or fish with some leftover roast veggies and rice, and maybe a handful of leafy greens, for example. And for dinner, you can have maybe a small portion of gluten free pasta as a side dish with some veggies and your favorite protein. Doesn't sound too hard, right? So now here's the secret sauce. I want you to start thinking of yourself as gluten free. You need to own it, you need to declare it, tell your friends. When you start identifying as a gluten free person, it really helps you stay accountable and embrace the lifestyle because why would you eat gluten when you're a gluten free person? And guess what? Over time, it gets so much easier. The more you feel the benefits, the more you'll stick to it, and you'll honestly not be missing the foods that you used to enjoy. So, if you're ready to start feeling better, improve your energy, and maybe even help shed some of that stubborn Hashi's weight gain, I've got something to help. So, if you click on the link below to download my Healthy Weight Hypothyroidism freebie, it's great. It's got a complete food list. It's got a 3-day meal plan, as well as a no-fail meal planner to kickstart your gluten-free journey. And if you want to learn more about going gluten-free in detail, check out my blog on this topic. Please remember, you've got this. There's many of us that have done it before you, and there's a lot of resources to help. You can do it.